Oh my god. Oh my god, this is so overgrown, guys. Yeah, there is no other way. We have to trim it. We have to trim it today. What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. My name is Yuris, and yeah, it's great to see your smiling faces. That was a quote from Peter McKinnon. Guys, in this video, yeah, it's good to be back, and we are going to trim this 20cm cube. As you have seen through all the Nano Aquascaping gallery videos, that cube kept growing, and every time I said, I have to trim it back. I have to trim it back. So 2-3 more weeks have passed since the last Nano video has been recorded, and just look at this mess. Let me take off the lid. Before I do so, a little pro tip for everyone having problem with this lid and, you know, kind of a lot of moisture building up and not able to look inside. Just move it like half a centimeter to the back, so you have 2mm gap in the front. This is going to guarantee the front is always clear to view. Just make sure the gap is not too big, otherwise things will dry out too quickly. So boom, removing this one. And yeah, let's have a look inside how it has grown. And if you remember, when I have planted this tiny little nano cube, I used the lazy dry start method. And by lazy dry start, it is basically a dry start, and the lazy aspect to it is I don't plant the Monte Carlo or carpeting plant, I just sprinkle it on top. It works like a charm. And now I'm going to trim it back. I see two options to do it. Option number one would be to fill up the tank with water and then trim back everything, and that would be a complete mess and not very beautiful to look at, to be honest, because everything floating, the light is kind of blocked from the top. And also I have another project coming up, which is a 45cm aquarium. And if you follow me on Instagram, by the way, this is a hint, the 45p, you remember the oak heart, the tiny little private customer aquarium. So I have rescaped it, so I have the dry scape ready, and I'm going to start it as a dry start as well as a lazy dry start. And for that, I'm going to recycle, reuse the Monte Carlo that I'm going to harvest from this tiny little aquarium. So literally budgeting here. I mean, there is no need to budget, but I think it's fun. So let's get started. Let's trim the Monte Carlo in this little aquarium. When I'm done with trimming, I'm going to equip that aquarium with this tiny little filter. Maybe you have seen the unboxing video, I did it live. That was a super fun experience to unbox it, because literally look how small it is. So we're going to flood the tank afterwards with water, equip it with a tiny little canister filter, which is probably the smallest one in the world. I don't know, I haven't seen a smaller one yet, or at least I don't have it here. There is always something smaller out there. And we're going to equip it with this ridiculously small stainless steel lily pipes in the front. So I don't know, from the left, from the right, somehow like this. This is how it is going to be equipped, and I might need a tiny little CO2 system. I will get it before we get there. And yeah, this is going to be the content of this video. And before I ramble for too long and somebody says I need the I Love Rambling t-shirt, shout out to my friend George Farmer, who, by the way, has just launched the pre-sale of his book, and I also placed the order, kind of pre-ordered it. A hard copy is coming, I think, October later this year. By the time recording of this video, this is like half a year from now. You will find a link down below in the description, an Amazon link where you can pre-order the book. Without any further ado, let's get started on trimming back that Monte Carlo. And yeah, to do so, I have here some tools prepared. Mainly I have a small spring scissors and a small tiny tweezers thing. Then I have here a little bowl with water, and yeah, I will not simply trim back the Monte Carlo, but I will try to harvest it. Literally take little runners of Monte Carlo and then trim back with the scissors and then put it into the water so I can reuse it afterwards. So we're starting. Starting here, somewhere in the back. Let me rotate a little bit to the side. Let's take those runners that grow over the rocks and just trim them back, one by one. This is only a matter of hours. Yeah, some here in the back. So I'm taking one little runner at a time and I'm trying to pull it out to see where it's coming from and then trim it back to its source where it's growing from. And most importantly, I want to clean that foreground, the cosmetic sand path, so it becomes visible again. I'm not too worried about the sides of the aquarium, but the middle section, the sand, I want to see it. Okay, and so yeah guys, let's speed up the entire process and kick in a little time lapse. So guys, halfway in and I figured out some sort of technique and workaround. So instead of trimming individual stems of Monte Carlo or holding it with my tweezers, you know, like holding it and then trimming it, I literally started just to pull out the Monte Carlo and just ripping it out. Yes, sometimes it came out with a little bit of soil, with a little bit of rocks, but all in all, I think I thinned out the Monte Carlo quite well here on the left side. And yeah, by now I already have so much Monte Carlo in this little bowl that it would be enough to plant the entire 45p mountain style iwagumi with a laser dry start method, because you need very little plant mass, because you don't plant in the soil, it's not wasted. All the plants are on top of the soil. This is the beauty of the laser dry start. You need very little plant material. And now that I kind of figured out a workaround for this technique, let me show you live how I've done it on this side. You've seen that in a time lapse. Now let's see here on the right side how I do it. That middle section here where we're close to the cosmetic sand, I'm going to trim with scissors because it is a little bit more delicate, but you know, here, for example, those pieces that are growing above the rocks, I just simply grab them with my tweezers and I rip them out. You know, just go here and rip them out because there's so much growing there. Absolutely no problem, just thin out a little bit. And the beauty is you get really nice long runners or pieces, which are perfect, really perfect to be used for the dry start method. And as you can see here, for example, it has rooted so wonderful. And in the back, the Eleucharis, Eleucharis doesn't work so well with the laser dry start method, but you see it's growing, it does produce some runners, but Monte Carlo is really growing like a weed with this method. So to fill up this tiny little aquarium, I'm going to use, as always, reverse osmosis water. And as a subscriber of this channel, of course you are, you know I love using RO water for all of my aquariums. So let's get some. So I don't have a RO tank where I save tons of RO water. Instead, I have a very long tubing with a little tab at the end. And if you're curious what this tab is made of, all the components, I will link a video above where you can find it. And yeah, just for the purpose to see the tank filled with water, we're going to fill it up right here, right now. So to do so, I need paper towels. Let's use the old one that I already used and save some paper towels and try to be as environmental friendly as possible. Reduce wastes. Okay. Adding this to the foreground. And then filling up. The water is coming straight from the RO unit that is situated below the sink, and it's quite a big filter. This is a boosted reverse osmosis filter. It's called GPD 800. I will put a link down below to this kind of reverse osmosis systems, and if you're interested, let me know down in the comments below and I will make a dedicated video about these RO systems and how it works, you know, why I use RO water, how I remineralize it, how I install. Probably it's going to be like an entire series. So yeah, drop a comment down below if you're interested in all of this. And as you can see here, the water is coming at quite a high pace. This is because my RO unit is super big. It is producing literally like 2 liters per minute, something like 2,000 liters per day. It's a lot of water. So definitely this big RO unit allows me to do water changes even on big aquariums straight from the RO unit, and I don't need to save the water in a container, in a bucket, in a barrel, or in whatever. I can simply put it inside straight from the tap. I probably should have measured the amount of water in here so I know the proper amount of water to be remineralized afterwards. To do so, yeah, I have it handy here. Shrimp King shrimp salt minerals. Shout out goes to Dennerle, my friends Volker Jochum and Chris Lookalp, aka Mr. Shrimp King, who sent me over this little sample here. I've been using it all the time on the UNS 5N and going to use it on this one as well. On the UNS 5N, I need just this tiny little spoon for full water change, so I guess this aquarium is a little bit smaller than the 5N, so I will not need the entire spoon. But what I will do, since I have to move this aquarium back to the kitchen counter, I'm going to drain the water in one of my buckets like this one. So I will measure how much water I will be able to take out of this aquarium. And yeah, by the way, this whole filling up and draining process will allow me to get rid of all the last remaining cuttings because they're now floating up on the surface. So what is loose, I will get rid of. Oh, by the way, look at the colony of the springtails up here in that corner. I don't know if you can see it. I think we have enough water to demonstrate how the tank looks filled up. And if I rotate it a little bit, so hopefully the overhead camera is going to capture this corner. All the springtails that have been living here for, I don't know, like 10 weeks or something for the dry start period. And by the way, guys, those springtails are amazing. I love them. They have been a game changer. And I owe so much Tanner from Serpo Design, who I learned from that, you know, the use of springtails in these immersed setups. These guys eliminate all algae, fungus, all kind of nasty things in this dry start setups for me. So I highly recommend you, if you do any kind of Babicusa, terrarium, aqua terrarium, dry start, laser dry start, to use those springtails. I will put a link to one of Tanner's video about these little guys again in the description below. And yeah, now let's pull out the paper towel to have a look on this aquarium. filled with water. I haven't seen it myself yet, filled with water. That's the first time. It's a premiere. So let me rotate this around and have a look at it. I like what I see. It has very nice depth. So actually the whole perspective once you fill up the tank with water is changing. And I would say with a little bit of experience, you become able to predict, that it's going to look right when filled with water. But every time I scape an aquarium and then I fill it up, it's like fingers crossed, hopefully it is going to look right when filled up with water, and it does. So 20 years of practicing kind of pays off here. Yeah, guys, this is it for that video. I'm going to move the tank off camera back to the counter. If you made it to this point, you are amazing, and thank you so much for staying with me and paying attention to this video. If you would hit the like button, I would owe you even more. Really, it does make a huge difference in, this whole YouTube algorithm thing. And if you are not a subscriber yet to my channel, I would highly appreciate if you would become part of my aquascaping family. Yeah, and I mean, if you're already there, then click that notification bell and get notified every time I upload a new video, so you don't miss out on new content. Yeah. The filter, I think I'm going to attach off camera. That's nothing too crazy here, just, the stainless steel lily pipes. Maybe another video, how I fill it with filter medium, Pimp the Filter series. Guys, really, this is it. Thanks a lot for staying with me. Thanks for watching till the very end. You're awesome. Thank you. See you next time. Bye. Hey guys, still there? You're amazing, you're the best one. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the opportunity, since the majority of the Monte Carlo has been removed, to the little bucket here. And with the water I can trim off some more Monte Carlo to give it a really nice shallow kind of trim, so it's most compact. And yeah, you see here from the side, trimming all down to consistent sort of 5 millimeter, and yeah, not really able to get here behind the rock. So just going to leave it there, but do my job from the side as good as I can. Trim all that Monte Carlo down to a consistent, tight carpet.